Bill Stark.
And I'm Tim Fenbert.
We're glad you're with us today, and thank you for taking a few minutes and focusing on your leadership. And of course, our videos that we provide nearly every Tuesday morning are meant just to give you some thought-provoking topics and ideas, things to think about to make you a better leader. And you may not know this, but in a lot of our training that Tim and I do, we talk about two big boulders, if you will, or ideas around leadership. One of them is that you need to have success with people, and that you need to have success with results. And as a leader, those are our two big, huge ideas. We need to be successful with both results and people. Today's talk is on favoritism, and it would definitely go in this category of success with people. So we're going to delve into this for a minute and really just ask that you be open as you listen, and maybe ask yourself, am I playing favorites in my role as a leader in local government?
And Bill, I think what we're really talking today is a lot of the subtlety that surrounds favoritism. It really is not those overt maybe situations. Today, we want to talk about some of those real subtle things that as leaders, we may not really be conscious of that we're doing, that can be perceived, and always perception can drive reality. It could be, we have a tendency to surround ourselves with ourselves. Maybe some folks hire that way. And when we do that and we don't have a lot of diversity in our team, we can really gravitate towards those who are similar to us, who have the same hobbies, maybe have the same background. And that's kind of the seed of where we can start to get in trouble. It kind of puts us in difficult situations with, if we've had employees for a long period of time, we've just gotten to know them really, really well, which is a great thing. We can lean into some of these situations where we're just connecting with someone maybe at a level where it could be perceived that we're going to show some favoritism. So again, it's not necessarily those big things, although we need to pay attention to those as well. We're talking about some of these little things. And, if it goes unchecked, that's where the problem is. Where that line, we may not even know that we're crossing the line. But again, if we don't have that same relationship with everyone on our team, maybe some newer employees, it's going to really stand out in the way that we connect with the people that we really do have long-standing relationships with. We have a definition we want to share with you on favoritism. Favoritism is the practice of giving unfair preferential treatment to one person or a group at the expense of another, or at the expense of another group. And we kind of know that when we see it, but today we're going to kind of break it down and talk to some of the impact that having favoritism can have. And ultimately it can lead to some problems. It can lead to legal action. Again, if someone is on the other side of that and feeling like they're being discriminated against.
Well, I think, Tim, about budgets. I think about special projects. Let's say that the mayor calls up, or the county commissioner calls up and needs somebody to do something special, like go to a baseball game. Well, who are you going to give the tickets to? Right. You're probably going to give the tickets to your friend who likes baseball. And so there are all these sort of subtleties when there's a little extra budget in the coffers at the end of the quarter. Where does that money go? If you're talking to your friend about it at lunch, your friend's department may end up getting that money to do something extra. And when those types of things happen, when the friendship connects to favoritism, kind of unfair treatment of other people, it can get into some really bad places. In fact, you could be in for lawsuits, not to mention just morale and the overall goodwill of the team. So there's some really potential negative side effects, and we just are asking you to be sensitive, be thoughtful along those lines.
Bill, another example is we all kind of have go-to people in our organizations, right? Just to get things done. But if we keep going back to the same people every time, our go-to person could be perceived as someone who is getting some preferential treatment. So we need to pay really particular attention to that. And I know you have an example of how we develop other people.
Yeah, one of the, again, a negative, sorry to hamper on the negatives, but one of the negative side effects of favoritism is this idea that other people don't get developed. And, Tim, to your point, if we have a special project that comes our way from a county commissioner or mayor or someone, and we hand that off to our favorite person who we know is reliable, what we're not doing is intentionally developing other people on our team who could probably do that just as well, or maybe with a little coaching could do it just as well. So people tend to get overlooked. They tend to not be as developed when this favoritism idea is in play. So, you've all heard of the good old boys club and good old boys, good old girls club, whatever you want to call it. We all like being in the club, but we don't like being outside the club. And, I think about some of the cities we serve, some of the people that we know, they do really innocent things that are awesome. They go to lunch every Thursday. And so I think about that's a great way to build relationships with your team. But if the same 4 people are going to lunch every Thursday, you might want to pause and think, well, how can we get other members of the team engaged in either a lunch or a social event because they're not participating for some reason. And just those very innocent things about lunch can turn into hard feelings, can turn into issues of morale. So a lot of stories out there, I'm sure, that you've probably seen related to favoritism. One other thought I wanted to share briefly is this idea of being a new manager. If you're a new manager or a new supervisor, you used to be the employee doing the work. And now you've been elevated to this role of supervisor or maybe assistant manager or whatever. And just want to pay a special pause here for you. You may have to deliberately pull back on some of your personal friendships. In fact, we would recommend that you do that because your team is going to be watching you very closely as a new manager, new supervisor, and how you treat people. And they know, because you used to be an employee, they know that you like Fred and Benita. They know that already. And so they're watching to see if you give them favoritism. And so really just a special caution for you new managers, new supervisors. I would say intentionally pull back the friendship type relationships, inside jokes, going to lunch on Tuesday. Be very careful about that because your team is watching. And as a leader, we just have to be careful about perception. And it's for good reason. We just don't want people to see us as not valuing other people. So this is not just perception for perception's sake. It has a good reason. We want to care for, support, and develop all people equally.
And it's interesting because we spend a lot of time talking about building relationships. So it's just finding that line and not crossing that line and being equal in the way you're building relationships with everyone on your team is really the key.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for visiting LeaderGov. We appreciate your support and participation. We're available on social media, LinkedIn and Facebook if you want to follow us there. We also love providing leadership development to leaders all around the country. We call them cohorts. They last for 12 months on a variety of leadership and management topics. And if you're interested in that for your team or for your city or county, let us know. We also provide strategic planning services and retreat services, which we love doing as well. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, let us know. You can email us or give us a call. But in the meantime, thank you again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.